We're
Actually,
live. Who
and
all is here?
what's funny is that your time comes up really fast. Mine, when it comes up and I was hosting, it was like almost 30 seconds in before I'd actually see the number. Here I saw it at 9 seconds.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
that's good.
We've got 23 in the house.
Awesome.
Wendy is second on the second or third shift because the first comments fall off after a while. But Wendy was here early. Mexican Spec is here. The unfinished project. He says, "I assure you, I was first." He's probably right. I would not question that. Dean Stevenson from the other side of the earth. We have Twisted Mopar Garage. Well, I always think his logo should be in a pretzel, like one of those big mall pretzels, you know?
Right? Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that. Colleen Tebow is here, driving now, be on shortly. Drive safely.
Yeah,
And
no accidents.
that's right. That's right. Junk Car Willie. Junk Car Willie, a No Name Nationals, No Name 500 success story. That guy started with a phone and a dream, and he has got a monetized channel, and he is rocking it now.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Willie's something else. Functional History says he'll be listening in the background as I eat and work. Well, that's cool. Pure Pontiac Garage is here. Engine Light Garage. Now, Engine Light Garage, are you check engine light garage or are you oil pressure light garage?
Or
Or are you air cooled and you're like generator light garage?
or are you like a prolong where you just put the prolong sticker over the engine light and the oil
That's
light and just let it run? Remember that
that's
commercial?
my favorite. That's my favorite kind of engine light right there. Mohawk 62 is here. Lars is here. Driving back from work, lurking in the background. Well, that's cool. Hope you had a good, productive day at work, Mr. Lars. Let's see here. Junkyard D from the far corners of the Dakotas.
Nice.
Turbo Tom.
That's an awesome logo.
It really it is. And we got 38 POS Racing is here. Jason's Garage Inc. The Dust Devil Garage. Frizzell Racing. If you've not yet checked out Frizzell's video on manual transmission racing tech, that's pretty cool. He's got the front engagement gears and a pretty much a clutchless transmission. He still bumps the clutch for, but it's a nice piece. I shared that. I thought that was cool. You don't see much on manual gearboxes like what you used to.
Yeah.
Mohawk 62 got a freaking commercial. Well, for if it's worth anything to you, Mohawk, whatever half a cent that we got from that commercial does go into the No Name Nationals. So hopefully it does something for you soon. Hot Rod Guy Garage Russell is here. Infamous Nova says, yo, how's it going, Infamous Nova? I haven't seen you in a while. My Aunt Nancy is here. Tall Garage. NSB Customs. Kevin's Rust. The Buick Smith. Whenever I see that name Buick Smith, I always think of a guy who has a skylark in the background and an anvil and a giant hammer.
Yeah, right.
Heaven's Mopar Scott, Levi's Backyard Performance, Andrew Nelson. Hope you all enjoyed your Good Friday. Indeed, it's a good Friday all around.
Yeah, weather was awesome.
Garage is eating pizza in the green room. Got Nick the Van Man 90. Talking about Nick today. I'm gonna get with him for some exhaust work. Smoke Wrench Sean is here. Glad you could make it. Buck does it. The One-Eyed Cat. We'll be mentioning Buck later in the stream, too. Well, my mom is here. And my dog is always here in spirit because she's got him for a thumbnail there. Cool. Dr. Go. B&R. Busted Radial Chris. I guess the party can start now. Busted Radial's here. All right, we've got a good crew here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have, as our guest on the panel, Professor P. And we're going to have rotating guests tonight. We're going to have different guests come in at different times. Yeah. And this is a family live. Indeed it is.
Yes.
This is a family channel and a family event and a family community. So it all works. Well, tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We have different things, different guests, and so forth and so on Friday nights. Tonight is made to be No Name Nationals 101. So, folks who, of course, anybody is welcome to come and hang out in the chat, and all of you OGs and regulars, which is great. But for folks who have never been to the No Name Nationals, and you've got questions like, what is it you do? How do I get there? Where do you have it? What's the facility like? Camping? What's the flow of the events? All of those kind of questions. This is the place to ask all of that stuff. And we're going to have rotating guests throughout the evening who have been to both the inaugural and the second No Name Nationals with plans to attend the third.
Oh, yeah.
Including Professor P.
Yeah.
He is our
yeah.
first. So this is the place and time and place to ask those kind of questions.
Yeah. Fire away, man.
But if you're new here, you notice this is a community. This is a bona fide community. We actually see each other in person, and we take however much time we need to greet everybody when they come in, because you guys are what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Like our friend Andy here sneaking in, right?
Oh, what's going on, Andy? How you doing, man? See
Andy's new logo there. Mohawk says, if it helps keep it going, I'll watch. Yeah, do what you please, man. I hear from a monetized creator that they've got 5 seconds to collect your attention and their money. So after that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's why there's that little countdown.
Right. The only countdown I really care about is this one. So.
Yep, the orange one behind you.
And for new folks, this is how many days we have until midnight of D-Day No Name Nationals 2024. So technically we have 173 days, 3 hours and 53 minutes. Not that I keep such exacting track of such things.
And it goes by fast. So
it does go by quick. However much time you think you have, it'll be like the moving floor out from under you. You know how at the airport they have those flat escalators that are just like a floor that moves? Okay, that's how the clock moves throughout the season.
Yeah,
You'll feel like the
true.
man running through the airport.
Yeah. Life, you're going the other direction. When you're going to the No Name Nationals, you're going that direction.
It is getting short, Mexican Spec. Yes, it is. It just flies by. And so I recommend to anybody new in the community who is a No Name Nationals hopeful. Of course, one thing we do that promotes community engagement is you have to have 500 subscribers to race, burnout competition, do automotive things at the No Name Nationals. Obviously, any spectator can come. Anyone can get a spectator ticket and come in and enjoy the day's festivities and all that. But one privilege you have that you earn by getting a minimum of 500 subscribers is that you can race, burnout competition, heads up bracket, all that good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And we do that because it promotes community engagement and accountability. And by the time you get 500 subscribers on YouTube, you're going to know all these people and have interacted with all these people in the chat, and they're going to have watched your builds and know who you are and what you're doing and vice versa. And by the time you roll through the gates at Sykeston, you won't have to ask anybody's name.
Yep.
You'll be driving in saying, hey, you'll recognize everybody and they'll recognize you. And it's a great feeling, and it's like nowhere else.
Yeah, it is. It's true. And my kids are feral at the No Name Nationals. I mean, they're on the little scooters and they disappeared and come back. Just is what it is.
Now, RT211 Racing says, I race at Sykeston all season. It's my home track, hoping to try and participate this year if I get to 500. Let me tell you, you could definitely get to 500. I've watched content with your car. That car rips. The biggest thing to do is, and again, coming from me, I understand, as the promoter, it's different. But if you go ahead and register, you're going to get on the radar much earlier and get the support of the community behind you. And as they watch your stuff, they share your stuff, and it is nitrous on your subscription curve. Going ahead and registering and making that commitment. And it pushes you a little bit because you've already publicly said, I'm going to do this. And I put your channel on mine, and you'll see, a link to your channel down there. And also Buck Does It channel does channel reviews weekly on his channel. For the No Name 500 guys. And we watch their progress and what they're doing. And that's a really helpful thing too. But the thing is we all have skin in the game. We're all invested in this thing. And so we like for people to make that commitment and register and take the plunge. But that's the deal.
I'm going to his channel right now to check it out real quick.
Right. Yeah. If one of the mods would put up the link to RT211, register, you'll get recognized. Well, you got recognized anyway. But what I say is that going ahead and registering definitely tells people that you're serious.
You know,
Turbo Tom did it. Dust Devil did it. Heavens Mopars did it. Unfinished Project did it. Engine Light, Mohawk. Every one of these people have done exactly that. Registered before they had 500 subs.
he has 190 subs now.
Yeah, you're almost halfway there. There's Jim's Fast Mac Garage. How you doing, man? Yep, Buck's already got you. I think I already did too. I think Joe sent me something of yours, just Mopar Joe. But that said, it's I think it's worth taking the plunge. But we've got Professor P here for a little bit for the first quarter, and I think it'd be good, just to get his take on coming to the first 2 years of the No Name Nationals. He was a No Name 500 guy. Professor P was a No Name 500 guy.
Yeah. I started a channel way back, basically just to post videos and so that way I could put them to like my other, forums I was in. It was just an easy way to put up a little blurt video. And and then how I took the plunge is I just said, you know what, I'm going to register. Dallas was telling me about it, and I had just met John, and I was like, what an awesome idea. And so when I registered, that basically made me get my subs. And it really pushed me. And then I was just putting up a video, basically every week, and I was filming them, multiple a day. So that way, if I had to do something that week, I could still put it, and that helped the algorithms. And I jumped that number rather quickly. I got there about 4 or 5 months before I started. I think I started in October.
You got your subs. I know you got your subs was it in July that you got your subs?
Yes, it was in July.
Yeah,
it was summertime. Yep, it was July. Yeah. Yep.
Everybody's trek looks different though. Some people get them really quick. Some people come right down to the wire, but it doesn't matter because once you're in the pits, you will not know who has 500 and who has 50,000.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Once you're there and you've made yourself part of the community and you've done that initiation, you're in.
Yeah, and some people just like to put up videos of what they're doing. Some people want to make a career out of it. Everybody has a different objective, and so everyone's equal. It doesn't matter if you've got 100,000 or if you've got 1,000. It doesn't matter at all,
Also, for the new folks here, tell them a little bit about you and maybe how the No Name Nationals fits into who you are and what you do, because we have the biggest collection diversity of personalities anywhere.
Yeah. I just happen to be an engineer for Edelbrock. I'm a product design engineer for Edelbrock Group. I came from California. I used to work for a company called Crower Cams, and then I decided California is not for me anymore. And then we just started looking out, and then we came over here. So that's basically what I do is I design products. That some things I can say, a lot of things I can't because it's secretive. But so a lot of that stuff, that's the reason why I do a lot of the tech talk, is because I can help out with that, because I'm in the industry designing the products that are going on new cars. And so that's helps out, I guess, with everyone. So you get to see it from an engineering point of view, who used to be I still am a car guy first, then an engineer second. So I see it from both avenues.
You did a reverse Beverly Hillbillies. You went from California to Western Tennessee.
Right. I didn't dude, that is funny because that is true. I didn't even think it
like that. You sure did. But we have so many variety here. I thought it'd be fun to have a variety of guests. But if you have any questions, it's a good time to. And speaking of that, if you have any questions about performance and technology and that kind of things and high performance tech, Wednesday night is a good time to ask those. The American Hot Rod Association channel with Dallas Brown has Professor P as a recurring guest over there, and sometimes you might see me, you might see Andy Wood or someone else, but Wednesday night is Tech Talk Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah, and it's something that I was doing for a little. Me and Dallas were doing together. Then I took it onto my channel for a while. Now it's back on Dallas's, and I'm kind of going in every other week. Just for right now, I've that orange sticker in the background, and that says 174 on it. There's a lot of things I want to get done before that gets down to 2. So I need to get some stuff done. I've got 3 kids too, so the time's limited.
Justin Hill is in the house. How's it going, man? 38 says Shane
That's
Clement.
awesome. Yes, that's awesome.
You've got to tell Lisa that.
Oh, she's probably watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry we couldn't make it a Beverly Hillbillies threefer, but we do our best. We've got, sometimes you'll see links like this pop up. These are our No Name 500 hopefuls. They're all listed on my homepage on YouTube, but they also come up in the chat. Occasionally we have mods that will post them. But that's the deal with that. Buick Smith has a question at the No Name Nationals. What lane turns out first on the return lanes? Well, as you're driving down the track at Sykeston, the return roads are on the left. So you have a common area where they merge at the very end in front of Sykeston Beach, and then they go left.
Yeah. So he wanted to know, like, at some tracks, like, okay, at Verona, the right hand lane has rule. So the track, my home track, so we would turn to the left, but the right hand lane would have rule because most cars have to swing out to the right to make the turn. On Sykeston, left hand has the rule. So that is something I have to constantly remember.
The good news is at Sykeston, you've got 1,300 feet of shutdown there before the beach, and we have yet to have a car get in the sand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we've had some fast cars. Well, decently fast cars there.
Oh, yeah. Tall Garage here says a lot of bad channels too, like mine. We got a variety of folks. And we've got a lot of talent in this community too. Lots of it.
Yes, we do.
But what if you want to tell folks in here anything that you have planned for this year's No Name Nationals? I mean, anything specific? Also, how have you transitioned from the first to the second to the third? Like most people keep increasing their goals or changing their goals or a new challenge. So what's that been like for you?
The first one, I was going to bring out my Slant 6 because there was a few people I wanted to race, call outs. The second year, I was wanting to bring out my my Cookie Monster, my real race car. Some things fell through, and this is why I want to make sure that orange sticker doesn't get down to 2 and then have problems. So I had to bring out my company car. That was just a test bed for some things. But this year, I'm going to be bringing out my race car, my real 1966 Dodge Dart, the car that we've been racing since the 1990s. So we're going to bring that car out, and that's I'm going to go after the 281050 again. I know there's probably going to be some people faster than me, but the instant green is an equalizer. So, and you have to put that power to the ground. So
now for the folks wondering about the flow of this thing, because he mentioned instant green. So Thursday we have tech. And of course, you can tech in whenever you get there. However, Thursday is when tech opens, and that's when most people get it done. We have our dinner cruise on Thursday. We have an all-run bracket on Friday and call-outs. We have a monster burnout competition Friday evening. But what Professor P is talking about specifically is on Saturday, we run a heads-up class limited to a 28-10-5 or 275 rear tire. And it's $100 buy-in because it has a nice purse. It's the only thing that has an extra fee at the No Name Nationals because it does pay more to win. And so generally, if you're racing that kind of class, that $100 bill isn't going to bother you, but it does pay better to win. And that one has quicker cars, and it's probably going to take something in the 5s to win this year. I mean, you never know. We got some heavy hitters come out for that. But that's what Professor P is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a car last year go through the clocks in 17 seconds in the 8th mile, and we've had cars go through the clocks down in the 5s. So, it's all over the map. Don't worry about it if you think my car isn't quick enough. There's no such thing. We had a 1916 Model T Ford last year.
And here's the thing too, is there's always call outs. What the best thing about a call out is you can walk through the pits, you could be hanging out with someone. See, you're hanging out with them on Friday night, right? And you're sitting there, you're having it, sitting around the fire, you tell them lies, and then you're like, you know what, I can beat you. Nope, nope, nope. You can get it there, you can call them out and go up there and figure it out. And that's the
That's
best thing
right.
about it. In my whole race, the first couple of years was literally call outs. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, call outs are a big thing. You can call people out. Just remember, when you do call outs, both cars do have to make it there.
Yeah.
But you can call people out. Buick Smith says, can you buy back in any of the classes? You can buy back in the bracket, just in the
Mhm.
bracket. On the Friday back bracket, you can buy back. The buybacks are $20, first round only, and the money goes to some good cause. The first year it went to St. Jude, for example. So we'll figure out what it will be this year, but it will go somewhere it should. 38, no. Your entry fee gets you into everything except the 28 10.5 heads up. That's a class that's just for faster cars. You can do all the test and tune call outs, bracket you want, burnout competition, everything. The dinner cruise, all of it's all inclusive in your entry fee. But because that 28 10.5 pays $1,500 to win and $500 to runner up, it's $100 buy in. And the house guarantees that purse regardless of the turnout.
Yeah.
So that's the deal with it. It's more cost for us. We're certainly not making anything on that, but that is just for the heads up. It's $100 bill buy-in. That's it.
Yeah. Someone texted me real quick. What what would you want to do? What's the highlight of the No Name Nationals? Let's say it. Basically, it's all of it. So if you're going to go to the No Name Nationals for the first time, do everything. My advice is get there Thursday. Make sure that you get to to Lambert's, for the car show, because that's cool. Everybody, you get there, you kind of get to hang out, you get to see the cars. They come in and out, and everybody's kind of checking out. We all go in for dinner, we come back out, and it sets the tone for the whole time, right? And then Friday is a whole day, so like you've already experienced some of the people, you've already met some people, and then we have the burnout on Friday, and then you have racing all day Saturday, and then the award ceremony. So it's an event. It's not just like one or two things. It's the whole package. So it's the best time that you can have at an event. I've been to a lot of events, and in fact, I'm kind of a drag week person. I don't go to drag week anymore because I go to the No Name Nationals. If that tells you something, and that's real.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of events, and everybody has their own stuff, their own style.
Yep.
No Name Nationals, what is different? If you want to know what's different, this is not a big corporate event. That
Mm-mm.
is not what this is. This event is unsponsored. It is a community-oriented event. We want all of our fellow content creators. We meet each other in person. It's about the people, and the cars come second to that. And the cars come because we're all car people. So the cars will show up. Don't worry about that. But first and foremost, it's about the people. Michael Schmidt has a question. Buyback. Buyback is when you lose in a round of racing. Some tracks will let you buy back first and or second round or whatever. If you lose, you can pay a fee and get back into the race. And in the bracket on Friday at the No Name Nationals, if you lose the first round, you can get a $20 buyback and get back in the bracket for second round. And the money goes somewhere good. Like I said, we did St. Jude's last time with our buybacks.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew Nelson had a question here for me.
Yes.
722. Yes.
Yep.
So he's asking me a supercharger or turbo. What's your flavor? It really depends on what I'm doing. Here's really my take on it. If I'm going to be driving a street car, now once again, this isn't for everyone. This is just me. If I'm going to be driving a street car that I race, it's definitely going to be a supercharger. If I'm going to be drag racing a car, it's turbo. But here's the thing is that because I want a supercharger right now is because I'm going to be doing a lot of cone dodging. But if it's something that I'm driving on the street and drag racing, but not going to cone dodge, then I want a turbo. Really, I'll tailor it. Either one would work for me because I see power in both aspects of it and the usage. Obviously, you can tailor your turbos to make it work, but that's just how I like it. I like the instant. I like NA power personally, but if I were to pick one, I like the instant power of a supercharger if I'm going to be dodging cones. That's just my opinion, though.
And also, for these type of questions, it's great to ask them on Wednesdays on
Yeah.
the AHRA channel because, like I said, Professor P can be there and other people, but that's a good place to get into the deep tech questions.
Yeah. I just
So
skimmed
what?
my surface.
Yeah, right. So this was just an overview of Professor P's what and why. But if you really want the depth on the why, there's no tech too deep to ask over there on Wednesdays.
No. Yeah.
Buick Smith asks if there's camping at the track. Camping
Yes.
is extremely popular. What would you say, Professor P? I would say probably more than half camp.
Yeah, and I'm going to say if you're going, camp at the track because that's when all the fun happens is at night.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's people kind of loosen up a little bit if you know what I mean. They kind of hang out and you can go fire pit to fire pit. I got a nice little beach cruiser and I hang out. I got a little radio on it and I cruise around and I enjoy myself. I think personally that's the way to go. There's showers at the track too. They have showers there, so it's not like you're going to get musty and dusty the whole time you're there. So you can shower and freshen up and then go to bed.
And the concession stands are open in the morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
And Sevens Mopar says, do you have a printout of when it happens? I put out a schedule a little closer time, a daily schedule. I'll give you a basic rundown of what the schedule looks like approximately, though, right now. And that is Thursday. You can, if you're traveling from a long distance, you can get there Wednesday evening and come set up. That's fine. But Thursday is when the gates open for participants. There's no spectator sales and there's no racing on Thursday. But Thursday is when everybody gets teched in. Usually tech opens about noon, and we get tech done in the afternoon and we cruise over 7 miles to Lambert's Cafe, which is in town, and we take over one of their giant bus parking lots and have a cool big car show.
The
And the
whole
car show
inside.
and Thursday is free for everybody too. So if you're just in the community of Sykeston and you're like, hey, what are these guys doing? Come join us. You can cruise and car show and everything. No participation or anything for that. No ticket. Just come do it. So that's Thursday. We have our dinner meeting and come back, and the weather is perfect that time of year for hanging out. So
Yeah.
the evenings are all great. Friday, we like the track to get going early, but we do a group photo Friday morning first thing.
Mhm.
So we line the cars up on the track all the way down to the finish line, or however far the cars run, and we do a group photo. And then we get the track hot for test and tune. We do test and tune and call outs pretty much at the same time. So the call outs are on you to pair up with who you want, but you can test and tune and call out. And then we're going to have rounds of bracket. And then the bracket will finish up usually around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. And then we have burnout competition at 7. And it is rowdy. And that shuts down the day on Friday. And then
Awesome.
Saturday morning, we get running early again, too. We always want to be running early because, if we have an oil down or something to clean up, we want to make sure to have as much track time as we can. And then in the afternoon, we run all of our eliminations for 28, 10, 5. We run our eliminations for monkey bike. And we want to add a second bracket on Saturday to be announced what kind. And then we have an awards ceremony, right before dinner. And then we break down and slide out. Now, you can stay Saturday night if you want to crash there at the track before rolling out, though.
Yeah.
But you do need to listen to the speakers, though, because those times are all approximate. They all adjust as things happen.
Yeah. It's constantly in flux. Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you want to plug or recommend, Professor P?
Just it's a different event than what you've ever been to. If you've been to a lot, I've been to a lot of events. It's like you said before when we started this, it's definitely a community. And there was I think I served dinner to Clint. Clint and his wife came over. I made him steak and shrimp. I think of what we had Friday night. So yeah, it's just come to have fun, and it's a really fun event. And it's unlike anything you've ever been to. If you really want my personal opinion on it, because people are vested into it, they've worked hard. It's not like where you just a paycheck where you just pay for the ticket and you get to go. You have to put some sweat equity into this. You have to make videos. You have to plan your time. You have to plan a build. So when you get there, you've accomplished something. You've got your 500, and you're continuing to move on. And it's so people want to be there. It's not like they have to be there just because they bought a ticket. So that's what I'm plugging, is that it's a different event. You've never done it. It's worth a shot, and it gives you something to strive for. And it's fun, and when you get there, like I said, the sense of accomplishment the first time you go down the track, you're like, yeah, this is right. I did this. It's pretty good.
We had a lot of first timers go down the track for the very first time, and they're hooked.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of which, the first year and the second year, there in the morning, people who've never drag raced, I showed them where the track lights were. I showed them what the pre-stage was, which is staging, what the lights mean. We walked the track. I show them what the cones mean, where
Yep.
this is at. So that way it's not completely foreign to you. There's been times too where I've taken people down the track so that way they can see it in a car. So if you're a first timer there, and on Friday, just come and see me. I'm usually parked right next to where Tech's at with Dallas, and I'll show you everything how to drag race if you've never done it before.
You know what? On Thursday, and I know some people won't be there on Thursday, but on Thursday, I like to walk the track, do a detailed track walk, and check out the condition and all these things. And
Yep.
you guys are all welcome to join us for that. So we'll put out a specific time for that, and we'll get out and actually walk the whole track. And we can talk about all of that stuff, the clocks, the beams, and all that stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Call outs are Friday and Saturday for Zell. I would recommend getting them in early, though.
Yeah.
So try to plan for being ready when the track gets hot on Friday and Saturday, but you can do it all day as long as we're having test and tune and or the call outs. So you'll hear it from the tower. Ron will call them to lanes. All right. So we're trying something new this time. We're going to rotate our guests in by the quarter, and you'll see more Professor P. When can they catch you live again? When do you plan to be back?
Next Wednesday. I'll be on the AHRA channel next Wednesday from 7 Central, 7 p.m. till 9. And if you want questions answered, you can send them over to slantdailygarage@yahoo.com and dive deep into this, because this is what I do. You can send your questions over there, and then I'll answer them. And I do a hardcore tech at 8 o'clock where we go into like vectoring, wave tuning. Really deep, if you really want to, or just as simple as what camshaft should I choose, and I'll be honest with you and tell you what you need.
Cool.
What's going to work. So
well, awesome. Well, we're going to let Professor P get on with his evening, and
awesome.
I've got a knock at the door. We'll let in our another guest here.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Take it easy, man.
Howdy.
And we have Brian from Dust Devil Garage.
How's it going?
How's it going, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
We got a few questions that have popped up here. Everybody is highly recommending camping at the track, by the way. And Dougster, yes, there are showers.
Mm-hmm.
Functional History's power is very hard to come from there. It's hard to get power there. There's plenty of room. There's 22 acres, but you really should have a generator or battery power or that kind of thing. Power.
Yeah, we bring a generator.
Frankenstein likes the food. I'm gonna catch up here real quick. Dougster has a CPAP, but he works around it with a deep cycle battery and inverter. Yeah, that would work. That would do it. If you want to run two vehicles, it's a good question, Engine Light Garage. Two vehicles is each an entry fee, but they each come with one human handler. So if you bring two cars and, that's two people. So that includes the person getting in with the other car. Okay. Well, a lot of people bring two cars. Some people bring three. Not a problem, but a car is an entry fee. Andy says the car show in Lambert is a whole experience in itself. There are people who come just for that, and then they hang around for the racing. They come for Lamberts, believe it or not. It's an experience itself. Lots of Fords coming out this year, but don't let that sway you. Michael Schmidt says, other than the $100 race, which is the heads up, all year slip times. Yeah, you get your slip times. We keep the clocks off there because there's a lot of people, playing cards, over what they run. But you do get a time slip. And man, we have everything from cars that run in the 5s to cars that run 17. Everything in between. I'm going to catch up on the comments real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Damien here says, I sleep in my race car to track the whole event. Yeah, it's plenty comfortable. And 38, there have been infrastructure improvements made to the track since last year because the track is under new management, and there have been improvements already made. But it is a good facility regardless. And Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage is bringing his truck Casper, pretty popular truck. I guess you guys have heard of that one. Deb Pedal Motors, thanks for swinging by, man. Let's see here. Andy's looking forward to finally getting to meet all the cool people. Well, we're looking forward to all of us getting to meet you. I met Andy many years ago. Don came to spectate and was hooked. All right. Before I get to any more of these, I'm almost caught up. I want to introduce my guest for those of you who don't know him. This is Brian of Dust Devil Garage.
That would be me.
Brian is another No Name 500 participant who has a unique distinction. He will forever be the first person to get the No Name Nationals clock that we give away every year. You can see that.
I like to think that I was the inspiration for the clock.
Actually, you were the inspiration for the first clock. Well, we didn't know if it'd be a clock or a sundial or what, but yes.
Calendar.
And you can see the clock up behind Brian. It's on the left side of his window there. Other side, there you go. But the clock it's a motivational clock. It's individualized, it's personalized for the person who maybe has bitten off a lot to chew. And so Brian got it the first year. Mopars, Mustangs, and Minivans got it the second. And this year, the first clock the clock for the third annual went out to Scott from Heaven's Mopars. But it's something that we think a lot of a person to send them the clock. We wouldn't give it to anybody we didn't like. But it's saying, hey, you've bitten off a lot, and we're recognizing you for it. All right. We're going to catch up on questions here. Yes, Dougster, there are showers. There are shower rooms at the track. And you got plenty of parking for RVs, but you just want to be self-contained. Let's see here. There will be all kinds of campfires going on in the evenings. I have no doubt. Let's see. Yes, at Lambert's restaurant where we go for the dinner meeting, they throw you the rolls like a baseball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to.
Not even kidding. Yep. They have a good crew there running it, and we care about all the folks that run the tower, run the timing, that run the track, the sweeper, the water box, concession stands, the gates. They're all the time slips. All of those people are an important part of the puzzle. Let's see here.
Deke's going to be running tech again, right?
Deke will be running tech. Our tech inspector is Deke Denny. And we're going to have him on a live stream here soon. We have him on usually 2 a year so that you guys can ask tech questions live, because we want as many people to be really ready to go through tech as possible. Makes everything smoother. The new people running the track are great people. Yes, they are. It's Possum and his family. Possum has helped us and been involved in the last 2 No Name Nationals, and now he is running the place. He is a good dude, and it's called.
I haven't met him yet.
It's called Skelton Raceway. It's at Sykeston Drag Strip now, because the old traditional name from 1969 is the Sykeston Drag Strip, but it is the Skelton Raceway at Sykeston Drag Strip now. Possum's a good dude. We call him the mayor of Sykeston, by the way. Let's see here. Okay, we're caught up now. Man.
All right.
We don't care. I'll tell you what, these comments are moving fast tonight.
Yeah, they are. And no, NSB, it is not the weird hour. Just because I'm here doesn't make it the weird hour.
Perfect timing by Andrew Nelson. It says, Brian, do you have 2 to 3 things to recommend to a newbie at the No Name Nationals?
The biggest thing that I have to recommend to you is, you see that orange paper behind John? You knock 100 days off of it. And that's how much time you really have.
It moves fast.
Give yourself an extra 100 days. Just knock it off of there. And if you don't make it, show up. I didn't have my car the first year, and I still showed up and had the most fun I've ever had at any event ever. and 3, don't run out of gas on the when you get the picture
Creep
taken.
photo.
You'll have a Cushman come and bring you gas, and it's embarrassing.
But Brian is a good one to ask, and I'll just put this out there. If any of the new folks, especially new folks, really anybody, but if the new folks have questions, hey, what would help me to be doing? What do you recommend? Brian is a really good one to ask. This event is not just a space filler in his calendar. Brian prepares for this year round. He's always thinking about it. So he will help you make your battle plans if you need it. Junkyard D, the changes to track with the new owners, what little changes I've heard have all been good. I've heard the track prep is excellent. There was a problem with track prep last year because the timing equipment got hit by lightning and they weren't running as regularly until the event. And so track prep was a little behind. Stuff happens. People adapted and overcame. That said, from what I hear, the track is really sticky and really good. That's all resolved. The timing system's been upgraded a little bit. The lighting has been upgraded a little bit. They have made a few little capital improvements all over the track down there. So everything I've heard has been good. And Unfinished Project says it right. There are only 25 Saturdays until the No Name Nationals.
Yeah, that's
So tell folks what you're working on. What is your No Name National project, and not just necessarily the car, but your whole thing, and how has it changed from year to year?
Well, let's see. The first year I actually see my parents come down with me. It's kind of a getaway for them too. And the first year everybody stayed in a hotel, and we ended up getting locked into the track because we were there too late. We were having too much fun. And then the second year we decided just to bring the camper. So that's a big thing, a big help. We've got our pit area, we got the camper there. Just getting that ready is a job in itself. My car, well, I guess people haven't heard too much about my car lately. They hadn't put out no videos, but yeah, that the first year didn't make it. Second year it was there, but it wasn't ready to go down the track yet. This year it's going to be ready. And I don't know what else you would do.
That's up to you. I mean, Brian has always got plans for coming to the No Name Nationals.
I've been ever since before a year before the first one. That was when you brought it up on one of my lives, just kind of offhanded mentioned it. I've been ready for it. I was ready for the first one. I was going to be there no matter what. I'm going to be there until John doesn't do it anymore.
You have little camps and neighborhoods within the pits too, and everybody can go everywhere, and everybody's cool and welcome and all of that. But like I call his end down there Camp Dust Devil. And you'll see Dust Devil Garage, you'll see Charger 383 Mopar, you'll see Scott Speed Shop. We've had all kinds of folks down there. The Twisted Mopar Garage, we've had Hoosier Garage down there. John Cope's been down there. We've got a lot of folks who have been down at that end in Camp Dust Devil. Then up toward the front with bigger campers and such, you'll see like Bad Tree Productions. And that's where that whole crew with Just Mopar Joe and Ricky Dre and all of them. And then in the middle, we've got a lot of truck guys. And then JB and Buck and these folks are usually in the grass. They have their own neighborhoods within the pits.
That's something I noticed from the first year to the second year. The first year, people really didn't know what to expect. And the asphalt part of the pits was just full. Last year it wasn't, because everybody's like, well, we're going to camp. So they all went to the grass, and there was more room on the asphalt part. So
now, we have most of the old parts in here. Ron Ward, for those of you who don't know, Ron Ward is the voice of the No Name Nationals. He is our announcer, and he is the voice you'll be hearing coming from the tower, calling you from the lanes, calling the action on the track. But that is him. So go check out his channel, and just know that that's who you hear from the tower. And Kim is right. The pits are a very interactive car show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Buick Smith, we'll see on that. That's going to be up to the track. We will say that provided everybody's got their speakers and the radio stations, we'll have the channel for radio, FM radio in the pits.
That's what I
Shouldn't
was
be a problem.
wondering is did they have that down there? I've never paid
They
attention.
do. They do have FM station. For Zell, you can camp in whichever neighborhood you want. Just go find out who you want to hang with. Start your own neighborhood if you want. You can do anything you want to do. It all works. All right, Brian, what are your plans like for this year's No Name Nationals? What are you planning to do? What's going to be? Most people typically will, they try to build upon whatever they did last year or the year before. That's pretty typical. Some people bring the same car and maybe bring the same car faster, or bring two cars or a different car, or do something a little bit different, or maybe say, I'll go to Burnout this year and did Bracket last year, whatever. Some people try to do different things and build upon the previous years.
Well, mine is my goal this year is to get the car to go down the track, because it wasn't running right last year. I figured out what those problems are. So I'm going to have that car ready to go down the track. And I'm thinking there's a chance I may get into the monkey bike with the new rules, because you didn't really talk much about the monkey bike during this, but that seems like that's going to be a fun one this year because of the new rules.
The monkey bike is a class that's for little two-wheeled creations of 236 cc's and under, and the rules are at nonamenationals.com. But that's a fun little class. It's a speed limited class. It's running 330 feet, and if you like little two-wheeled mini bikes, that might be a cool class for you.
Oh yeah. Well, and there was people asking when they do the call outs. The call outs happen in between everything else.
Yes.
Like I don't think there's hardly any time. There's hardly no time when there isn't something going down that track the whole weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's not something going down the track, it's because somebody has contributed to this wall in a way they might not have meant to.
or the burnout competition's going on.
In fact, this connecting rod came out of Big Block 402, Stephen Myrick's engine on that track, and caused an oil down, and he won the award for the worst oil down the first year. And this connecting rod is what happened. So when there's not something going down the track, that's why.
Well, we didn't have any of them this year.
No, really.
There was nobody broke.
Yeah, people really stepped it up.
Probably because my car wasn't going down. So
we really did well with that. Jim says my car has no side glass. I don't know if we'll be able to install the side glass. I will say if you don't have side glass, you should run a window net. However, that is a proper question to be asking Deke. That's a good question for Deke on our Tech Lives. But what I'll say is you've got 173 days and 3 hours and 12 minutes. And, there's something you can work out. You could work out like a fixed Lexan window. You could do a window net. Or if there's a solution with with your belts and harnesses, like shoulder harnesses, because I know dragsters don't have any glass or net. It's a good question for Deke.
Yeah, I always wondered how that worked.
For what it's worth, Auto Salvage Outlaw says I'm going live tomorrow at 3. He says it may be his last live that he wants to do, but he says he's going tomorrow live at 3. So I'll put that out there. J-Bo says, is there a junkyard near Sykeston? I have no idea. That'd be a great question for Possum, though.
I will look that up, too, because that would be close to me.
Mohawk said the first year I heard about No Name Nationals in August and decided why not go check it out. We went as spectators and ended up being the best event we've ever been to. Well, cool. Thanks, man. Glad you had a good time. We enjoyed getting to meet you. I know that. Tall Garage broke on the way there. It happens.
Speaking of that, I went to Holly Mo Party for the first 3 years of it. And last year, it basically came down to either No Name Nationals or Mo Party, and I went to No Name Nationals. That's not to say anything bad about Holly Mo Party, but No Name Nationals is just, if you're going to miss one, don't miss that one.
I will say the No Name Nationals is made for you guys. It isn't. You guys are not paying for the event. I mean, you're not entry fees. You guys are the show. So there is no big corporate show hiring in talent and then using a gate to cover it. That's not what this is. You guys are the show. So that is a big difference. Mostly Old Parks Wrong Ward says this event's like no other I've ever seen. I hope to announce for the No Name Nationals as long as they'll have me. So much fun, so many great people, so many great times. Ron Ward is great. He is the voice of the No Name Nationals for a reason. We love having him there.
What I think you've done good with the event too is it's not you don't have to. You've made an event to where you don't have to put out big money prizes just to get people to show up. You know, you've given somebody a different incentive to show up, so you're able to keep the cost down to go. People aren't going there being super hyper competitive, so everybody's having a good time. Nobody's cussing about, this bad, that, oh, this, that, because there's really nothing really on the line. You're just there to have fun.
Yeah. It's fun. It's getting to meet people in person you would never have met in person otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, people from opposite ends of the country will meet in person at this. Engine Light Garage, that is a Deke question. We're going to have Deke Denny, our tech inspector, on. And so I'm going to defer those type of specific tech questions to those lives. But that, and you can always email them to me, john@PrincetonDragway.com, and I can get that to Deke that way if you'd like. But that's the place to ask that question. Cultured Redneck Garage, he says he's been driving today. He's listened to live. That's cool, man. We appreciate that. That said, Cultured Redneck is a good story about the No Name 500. He didn't make his 500 subs the first time through the No Name 500, but he did make them through the second time through, and he's going to be there racing. But he's been there to both. We'll be there for the third time. So,
well, I haven't seen that yellow car there yet. I know I would have recognized that yellow car.
Well, I can tell you, Kyle will be there. What rating helmet do we need? If your car is 764 or quicker, you need a Snell 2015 or newer. If your car is 765 or slower, you can run a Snell, but you can also run a DOT helmet if you're 765 or slower. But everybody has to have a helmet. I've respectfully requested that we save burnouts for the competition. Yeah, I would appreciate that. Obey this pit speed limit. Do remember there's a lot of kids and families there, and we want to be really safe in the pits. But believe me, do we have a burnout pit for you, and you can turn it loose.
Everybody's been real good about that too.
They have.
And picking up their trash. We leave the place cleaner than when we found it.
Ron Ward's recommendation says he wouldn't recommend running without the T-tops due to the increase in cabin pressure at speed. I'll tell you, Ron Ward knows a lot of stuff, so he makes suggestions.
Yeah, but if you know engine lights cars, the speed is not. There ain't gonna be no cabin.
No Name Nationals isn't about money; it's about fun. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron remembers Kim actually did what I think is the first burnout of the No Name Nationals, actually. Bad Tree Blake says Heathens Assemble. How's it going, Blake? Blake and crew there usually bring either 2 or 3 cars to No Name Nationals. So we've seen the Nacho Cuda. We've seen the Motley Crew Cab Triple Pickle Green Dart of the hippies. We've seen Blake's Orange Death Pumpkin Dart. Good crowd, and they usually are pit right up there at the front. So if you're a fellow heathen and you like the BTP, that's a good place to see them. Let's see here. No open face. You can run open face helmet. You can.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't like running open face helmet, but you can. Let's see here. No matter how massive your head is, a drum will not suffice. Brian, is there anything else that you want to tell these folks about your experiences or what you would recommend or maybe, how to prepare to have a good time at the No Name Nationals or anything?
I would definitely recommend camping at the track. 1, it saves a lot of money. And 2, it's just that there's no reason not to, because that was exactly what Shane said. That's when the fun really kicks off. I don't know, because you don't need to bring a whole lot of money because the concession stand's reasonable. Just come, be prepared to have a good time. It's not like even going to your local track on bracket night, because you're always going to see people arguing and fighting there. Not at No Name Nationals. Nobody argues, nobody fights at No Name Nationals. If you lose, that means you probably lost to a friend of yours and you're happy he won.
I've seen the best sportsmanship at the No Name Nationals of anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I saw in 28-10-5 the first year, I saw the person who won the chip draw give up his buy run to a faster car to help accommodate him. I've never seen people complaining in the tower. In fact, people bring up stuff to the tower to give away.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of event. And I will say, because those of you who for the first time, there's always in all corners of YouTube, there's this little bottom 1% that likes to create drama and all this stuff. That's there with everything. Those people don't show up to No Name Nationals. Mm-hmm. It's drama free. So no matter what, these little people dwellers, they do their thing. They don't show up there. None of that comes there. It's a drama free weekend with YouTubers. Imagine that. So it's the face-to-face experience is wonderful.
And bring something to put stickers in, because you're going to leave with a lot of stickers.
A lot of channel stickers, yes. And also, if you have channel stickers, bring a bunch of yours.
Oh, yeah. I have them made up just for that. I've got a new set of stickers I'm going to make up for this year. And I said it the first year that this is like a family reunion that you actually want to go to.
Yeah, so this is something good that Ron Ward here brings up, is that there is a stage there at the No Name Nationals. And last year I told people, if you want to bring your instruments and jam, there's a place to do it. And Saturday night is the time for that. Saturday night. Last year, a lot of our musicians, for whatever reason, couldn't make it, had some different things come up. But we're going to revisit that for this year, for Saturday night. Yep, we got a stage there. The stage does have power because it's on that other side by concessions. So just throwing that out there. Ron Ward says the No Name Nationals is a model for sportsmanship in an event. I can't stress this enough. I'm sure, I don't know if Ron said this on a live stream or just said it to me, but he says this is one event where nobody comes up in the tower and complains. And they don't. It's wonderful like that.
One thing I haven't seen this year that I really like to see is I haven't seen as many people making call out videos and stuff this year. So hopefully that picks up, because that's part of the fun too.
Indeed. It's the call outs are fun. Do remember with your call outs that your dance partner, so to speak, has to make it there, and you do too. And it's all going to be subject to change up to the last minute, but I still encourage it, good sportsmanship, make a call out. Last year we had this call out, John Cope, he did this little bounty on Just Mopar Joe, and it was all good natured. Those two have great mutual respect for one another, but it was fun. So Cope did a bounty on Joe, and it was all good. So that kind of stuff is great as long as it's done with the right motives and good sportsmanship. All that's good.
Yeah,
the house is not going to do bounties and stuff like that, but you guys are welcome to, as long as it's done with good sportsmanship and all of that. Scott wants to know where to get stickers made up. Where would you recommend, Brian?
I get all mine from Sticker Mule, but I can't remember the name of the new place. I was going to actually try out a new place, but Sticker Mule does a good job, and they'll get them to you quick too.
Thanks for swinging in, Blake. We appreciate you, man.
I want to go bowling. We need to have bowling. We need to have a bowling night at the No Name Nationals.
Yeah, we actually have a channel called Bad Attitude C10, but he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Anything else, Brian? Because I got a knock at the door down here.
Oh no, I'm good. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Let the next person in.
Appreciate you coming in and sharing your experiences. We're going to bring
all right,
in. We got
we'll see you later.
we have Mr. Dallas Brown,
Hey, how's it going?
president of the AHRA.
What's happening, Brian? See you later.
Yeah, we've been rotating around. We work in shifts on this because just seeing what's going on, people can share their different experiences. Hello, Terrence Boyer. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. Let's see, make sure we're all caught up. Buick Smith is asking Dallas, have you got your text about those converters?
Actually, I was just texting him back, and I'm not so savvy at texting. I suck at this, or the chat. And I was telling him, no, I didn't get his information, and I'm sure it's because I got a new number, and he doesn't know that. So he'll have to hit me up on Messenger. But and I'll give my new number. It's no big deal. But I had to get a new number, and it's not Wednesday night, so usually I'm here on the Wednesday night. So okay, No Name Nationals 2024.
Right. So this is
this
is different, Dallas. This is the No Name Nationals 101 Live. This is like what we did a few years ago for the first one.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we did it in June or so.
Yeah, we just want to tell the new folks all of those questions. They've been asking questions like camping and that kind of thing. And I've been rotating in different guests because everybody's had different experiences and different goals and different things happened. And so for the new folks here, because we have had several new people in the chat, you want to tell them, who you are and all that good stuff?
Okay. I'm Dallas Brown. I used to be I still am, I guess, the AHRA sanctioning body owner / I don't know what you would call it. Right now I'm just kind of taking a break, and all I'm doing is helping John with No Name National stuff because I just haven't had the resources to do it while my life is in going through a transition. So, but other than that, though, John and I were the brain children behind No Name Nationals. And so everything that we've done up to this point, essentially John and I have either created or talked about or implemented and made it happen. Just for the sake of like the AHRA, the reason why I started it was literally for the regular guy. There was little room left for the regular person to want to just go race and just have a good time with you might not have the fastest car built in the world or, the big piles of money that it takes to run in class racing and the other sanctioning bodies. And so our focus was essentially just on the regular person that wanted to continue doing drag racing. And the reason why I did that was to have a professional level, you have to have AAA baseball, right? And the same thing applies to drag racing. And unfortunately, there's a lot of facets that don't get a lot of focus in sportsman drag racing. It's only made up of really 3 facets, right? Bracket racing, index racing, and heads up racing. And there's not a lot of fair regular guy index and heads up racing. And the idea was to find a spot for them and then put them in there, and then we'll just have fun with it. It wasn't to shake anybody down. If you look at you go to a national event at NHRA, it's a $300 something entry fee. It might even be about $600 by now. But No Name Nationals is still your regular run of the mill entry fee, because the whole idea was we didn't want to shake you down at the gate. We wanted you to bring your stuff out, and that's what makes it fun. When you have a place to go and it's affordable, and you can bring your whole family. And so that was the idea around the No Name Nationals, that it had to be family centric, to be cost effective for just about anyone. And if you don't think that that's true, when you get to the pits at the No Name Nationals, look around. There's almost everyone there is doing it on the low buck. There's guys like Dizzy Izzy, right? The guy's sleeping underneath his truck when everybody's racing, right? I mean, he's out there just having fun just to be there. But there's also so many people that come out and camp. And like I said, the idea was to make it family friendly and then just have the camaraderie that you don't get anywhere else. The first year we put on, it was more or less a barbecue where you could walk around everybody's pit, and it didn't matter who they were. If they had a grill burning, you're more than welcome to grab food off the grill and just hang out with them and try their food out. This likewise with your own stuff. So that was the idea behind the whole thing.
Yeah, it's very much like a family reunion. It's people are grilling, they're camping, they're having a good time. Great people. Yeah, most of the old parts. Ron says barbecue, don't forget the cookies.
Yeah, Ron came out, and the first year we had the let's see, my family brought
the community cookout.
Short ribs. Yeah, we did the community cookout, and we did short ribs. And Ron was like, that's what did he call it? Like meat candy, right? And he was like literally eating them right off the grill as soon as we got done with them. But he brought his own sausages, and his family makes they have like a butcher shop, and they make sausages and stuff. And so Ron brought his sausages and stuff, and we cooked them all up on the grill, and we're just handing them out to anybody that was walking by. But Andrew Nelson was saying some really good stuff about me here, and I want to thank Andrew. Yeah, you guys made my year last year. You really did.
Dallas last year took a hiatus from working events, and it gave him a clean opportunity to participate as a participant in the event. And so he brought his race car and did tech and everything and ran just like everybody else. And Dallas won the Best Engineer Award last year. And so we're going to have different awards. One thing, too, about the No Name Nationals, we have different awards than everybody else. We do have a Best Engineered. We do have a Low ET. We do have an award called Star Traveler, which is for the person who brings their stuff from the farthest away. We have a Worst Oil Down, which is a trophy that you may not want to win, but we do have it for somebody who,
Well, see, the first year it was really warranted.
Right.
Candy Cane let go of the whole entire rotating assembly.
I showed him the connecting rod out of it. It's back here on the wall.
And then last year we ended up having to just pick on Blake, who had a few dribbles of oil on the track, and
that's all
that's all that happened.
But we
so,
do
not to pick on Blake, not to give him a hard time,
the
but
awards are special, and the participants bring out their own awards too. Like Hoopty Mike, Big Mike's Hoopty Barn brought an award called Driveline Down, and Dizzy Izzy won that one.
Well, what's really neat about the No Name Nationals is the first year? Oh, there was all this negative stuff floating around from all the trolls, right? Junkyard Nationals and this and that. And what's funny is last year we had who was that guy that brought the Model A? Was it a Model A?
Turbo Tom brought a 1916 Model T Ford.
Model T Ford. Okay. He brought a Model T and ran it down the track. Guess how many rods it kicked out? None. 0. You had Big Mike's Hoopty Barn, who literally brought the biggest hoopty on the planet. It was repurposed everything on the entire car, and it was a really neat piece. Like if you've never seen a repurposed car, Big Mike nailed it. And that thing went on the track. There was no issues. We didn't have any real issues, and there were some seriously fast cars that you needed a lot of freaking safety equipment. I mean, here's one of your guys right here, Redbeard. He brought out that hammer of his 2 years ago, and it didn't kick out any rods. So it didn't blow up, and training didn't go bad, nothing like that. I mean, the biggest things was, let's see, that first year was Candy Cane, and it got hurt during the burnout contest. You could actually hear it. It went down. The motor started lugging during the burnout, and it was like, that doesn't sound right. And then it just got worse and worse throughout the day.
Yeah, he thought it was valve train or something. He found out.
Yeah. It was a lot more than valve train. Then let's see, who was it? Was Scott Speed Shop.
He broke
Jezebel.
Shaft. Yeah.
And the sad part was it's a Hemi 4-speed output shaft, so it's meant for big time clutch dumps with a Hemi. And then it had a strange yoke on it. So, I mean, it was some high dollar parts, but it did come apart. So
Most of the old parts has thrown out the invite to bring your projects, regardless if they run or not. Clint Street Machines brought his called the Brat Think. So imagine a Subaru Brat when a Rat Think put together. That's what it looks like. And he brought it. It wasn't running. It was still mocked up, but he brought it. And
Yeah.
Dust Devil Brian brought his Duster, even though it wasn't ready to go down the track. So sometimes people bring stuff. Road Beer Garage. He brought his truck, and it wasn't ready, but he brought it for display. Just bring it out. Bring your stuff out. People still want to see it.
I mean, okay, the first year we had a guy, I can't remember, his Night Wrencher, I think he towed from San Diego, California to show up, and it was an LS powered, half ton, 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, Dodge pickup, like a 70s Dodge pickup.
With a Toyota transmission and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And this thing, it made like 2 or 3 passes down the track.
It's a rock crawler. A rock crawler. He towed us from San Diego a rock crawler to go down the track at Sykeston.
Yep. And he only made a couple of passes, and it wasn't even finished. And he said, I just ran out of time. But I'm telling you, it was just cool to see the people that you see on YouTube right there in front of your face. Everybody was willing to meet you. All their fans were willing to see you guys and shake your hand and tell you how much they like your content. Yeah. So, No Name Nationals is literally like a car show / drag race / burnout contest. It's all there.
So Stephen Holt says, I set up the pumpkin in the pits. Stephen drove his car from Texas. He changed the wheel studs, and he set up new gears in the rear end.
I was going to say.
And ran it down the track and drove it back. He is a warrior. And he's registered again for 2024. So looking forward to seeing Stephen and family again. Oh, yeah. And Russell from Outfits brought a dirt track car.
Yeah.
And that put on a really wild show going down the track. So he's
it literally came from the dirt track to Jeffers Motorsports Park, because it was when he launched that sucker, there was dirt coming out of the quarter panels and all kinds of stuff.
Now, I will say that the track, for you new folks, Jeffers was the name of the track the first 2 years, Jeffers Motorsports Park. The new management has it renamed. It's original name, Sykeston Drag Strip, but it's the Skelton Raceway at Sykeston Drag Strip.
Well, I tell you what, here's a testament. Redbeard Racing 710 at 8:11 p.m. says, it's the best time I ever had at a track. And that's somebody that goes racing a lot.
Yeah, with a 5-second car.
Yeah, that says a lot about the event itself. And I was the same way. Last year I got to participate. I couldn't do much with making the No Name Nationals happen. I was a mess. And I had the best time. It was the highlight of last year for me, by far.
Frizzell's going to be bringing his 70, I think it's a 77 or 76 Ford ramp truck with his gear jammer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was his Legacy Galaxy, right?
Walther Edie, greetings from Norway. Hope I have that right.
Man, I hope he makes it to No Name Nationals. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Norway is a country we haven't had yet, so we'd be looking forward to that. But we look forward to meeting you, man.
I did see that, Ron. Yeah. Ron Ward is our announcer. He is mostly old parts. That's Ron Ward. He's about the coolest cat you're going to find on the microphone. He just enjoys doing it, and he enjoys this bunch here. That's one thing that has been pretty much a staple throughout both events, was that everybody that was involved with it the first year wanted to come back the second year. Everybody that was involved with it the second year, if they might have been there the first year, or they might have just showed up on the second year, wants to come back for the third year. And not just the participants, but the people that were actually involved with it. And that's what is really hard. It's a tough couple of days because the schedule is like bang, 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 bang. But it's like from one event to the next. And it's always right when, the lull starts to happen, bang, you're right into something new. So Dust Devil Garage wants to know if I'm racing again this year. Yeah, I'm going to bring the T-Bird out. I got to, I have to, I don't know. I took home the championship for the 28-10-5, so I got to show up just to shoot it out with whoever shows up. And there's some really fast stuff out there this year. Jaron Long had some, the duck? Is that him?
We've got a lot of folks who are circling the boat.
Yeah, there's some 550 cars out there or faster, low fives, and then Redbeard's probably going to be knocking on the low fives. So I'm gonna have to bring something for him.
Yeah, Redbeard. We're watching your 605 Hemi go together. The T-Bird is awesome, and it's a 77 ramp truck with his Galaxy. That's a cool little combo.
Yeah.
It's so fun, it's over before you know it. But that's the thing. Be as prepared as you can be so that you can have as much fun as you can at the event. But yeah, the event does fly by. That's for sure.
Yeah. The thing I always find is like, it's exciting to get there. And then, because John and I always show up 2 days before everyone else?
Oh, at least.
Yeah. And then set everything up. And it's like, it's exciting just to be there. And then when it starts happening and it's like, oh, it's going by so fast. And then when it's over, you're like, oh man, it's already over.
The track will be fully prepped. It's a prep track. And the guy who runs it, his name is Possum. We call him Mayor Possum. We call him the mayor of Sykeston just because he knows everyone. And he is a seasoned track operator. We're going to have a good track.
Well,
I've got good reports out of there, and they say it's excellent.
And to let you know, nothing's going to change there at the track. Possum, okay, we call him Possum. His name is Ricky Skelton Jr., but he looks like a possum, right? So everyone calls him Possum. The first No Name Nationals wouldn't have happened without that guy. He literally bent over backwards. He runs a shop, automotive shop, just right behind the shutdown there at the track. And when John and I showed up, I mean, it was like literally crap was hitting the fan blades the first couple of days. And it seemed like everything that we had in place went wrong. And Possum was the guy that helped us get it sorted all out. He knew everybody, and that's why we call him the mayor, because he knows everybody. All you got to do is he go over to Possum's place. He pulls out his cell phone. He's got their phone number right there. And if you can't get a hold of them at their shop or whatever they're supposed to be doing, he's got their home number, right? So he helped us get it all sorted out and everything set up.
Possum,
matter of fact,
Mayor Possum is going to be nothing but a help to No Name Nationals, 3rd edition coming up. Ron English, don't forget about Workday. So we may or may not have to fill sand barrels this year, but I will say this. Wednesday is a work day. If you're long hauling and you need to come in Wednesday to set up, that's fine. You can do that. But Wednesday is a work day. We've got to get the place set up. So if you want to come in Wednesday, expect to get put to work because there's plenty to do.
Yeah. Who was that poor guy that showed up with the van last year?
Yeah.
That dude showed up. I just wanted to see the No Name Nationals. And we're like, okay, well, what are you here for? And he's like, I'm just here to spectate. All right, well, we'll let you spectate for free if you help us set up. And so we worked that dude. We got our money's worth out of that cat.
Ron wants to give a shout out to Barkley Schmidt. He came to the first No Name Nationals not knowing what to expect and became a huge supporter of the concept and event. Indeed, Barkley is a big help to us, and it really helps having your local guide there on the ground who can help you with things, and he certainly does that. We appreciate Barkley. They work the track as needed between classes, but that said, we have our test and tune, and we have our call outs, and then we have calls to the lanes. They work the track as needed. Barkley should certainly be there doing something. So he might be working, he might be racing. We'll see.
He was actually trying to create a channel, like what is it, Schmidt Family Racing, or maybe the Schmidt Show. I think that's what he was going to call it, the Schmidt Show. And he was trying to create a channel to get enough subs so that he could participate.
Yeah, nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah, Redbeard's saying there's a Mopar that's going to win the 28-10-5. Well, yeah, hey, man, you know what? Chances are good that a Mopar will win the 28-10-5. There was about like one Ford there last year, which was me. And then, let's see, you had the Nelsons had their Studebaker out there. I mean, but Mopar usually, has a heavy showing at the No Name Nationals just because a lot of uh, John's circle are
Yeah.
all Mopar fans, so they
We
all
had
come out.
we had the highest percentage of Mopar the first year, and it has slowly slid up with other makes over the years. So, like, we had a lot more Pontiacs last year, a lot more Fords this year. We still have a ton of Mopars, don't get me wrong, and I'm not complaining. I'm a Mopar guy. But because my personal circle are Mopar people, it got Mopar heavy the first year, but that has balanced over the years. There's plenty of GMs and Fords and Pontiacs and foreign cars and everything else there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell everybody right here that the No Name Nationals, 28-10-5. If I show up and I don't have a chance with some of these crazy heavy hitters, I'm gonna take the front end limiters off, and I'm gonna give you the best show you ever seen. The drag strip.
Now, Redbeard 710 says he's going to say Mopar will win, but if it's not him, it'll be Michael or the Duck. And for those channels, he's either talking about Michael Yielding or he's talking about J Long Time 20, Jaron Long.
Don't
So
count
those
out Professor
people-
P.
And but don't count out anybody. There's going to be several cars there that can run a 5.
Yeah, and I'm going to be deep in the 5s.
Tall Garage says Nelson will bring Chevy power to the winner's circle this year. I wouldn't count the Nelsons out ever.
No.
Ever.
I hope he shows up with that North Star motor and something.
You just never know. They always have their stuff together.
Yeah, well, see, he's building that North Star, and I've been following North Stars for a long time, and they got a bad rap and reputation. But that's virtually 2 quad 4 cylinders put together in a V.
Frizzell's saying Ford clean sweep. Frizzell's saying that Ford's going to win the bracket. Ford's going to win the Friday bracket, the burnout competition, and the 28-10-5. That would be what I would call the sweep, the big 3.
Well, there's Mr. Destroyer 1320 says loves this family.
Destroyer Eric?
Yeah. I hope he comes out for this year's event.
Functional History says he's going to knock everybody off in a Lancer.
I hope so. Oh, I don't have any nitrous on there, Ron.
Dust Devil Garage's first year was a Mopar clean sweep. Yeah. Mopar won those 3 classes the first year, but did not the second year. The second year, we had a Mopar win the bracket. We had a Chevy win the burnout competition, a Ford win 28-10-5 the second year. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot of Fords this year. There's going to be a lot of Ford competition this year. Last year, it seemed like it was the year of the Pontiac. A lot of them showed up.
All right. Well, Buick Smith, hit me up there on Messenger, and I'll get you my new phone number. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know about nitrous because nitrous is really hard on the wallet, but I don't know what I'll show up with, but I'm going to be deep in the 5s.
Functional History's asked, could you explain 28-10-5 for those of us who don't speak the gearhead language? So on Saturday at the No Name Nationals, we run a heads up class, and just this one thing is $100 buy-in. It's a heads up class run on an instant green. The car has to have steel roof and quarters and a 28 by 10.5 15 tire or smaller, or it can be a 275/60/15 if you want to metric. That size or smaller tire, steel roof and quarters. It's heads up and it's run on an instant green tree, which means you're going to stage the cars and then the tree will just go green. There's no yellows. And that's kind of an equalizer in the class. So
yeah, you catch the guys napping on there.
Now that class pays more to win and runner up. So it's $100 buy-in on the day. Everything else, the No Name Nationals does not cost extra. Just that one class. And again, it's very limited because most people are not going to run in that. Now, Redbeard here, I predict he will. That class is made for guys like Redbeard. But most of us don't have 5-second Hemi demons. So, no W. Yeah. That is correct. So, no, it's 28 by 10.5. or 275 6015 or smaller. That is
Blue
correct.
collar performance. You guys got to bring the Pinto back again this year.
And he sold the Pinto,
Oh, he sold the Turbo Pinto.
but he's going to bring something great. I have no doubt. But
And Ron Ward's trying to goad me into putting a stick shift in that T-Bird.
now,
This is going to be the last hurrah of the C4, the Hail Mary.
Blue Collar Performance, by the way, is the second winner of the Cinderella Award. So the No Name 500 channels, the channels who register before they have 500 subs, at the end of the year, the winner of that class wins the Cinderella Trophy, which is a trophy with a glass slipper on top. It's kind of like the surprise of the event, the person who came out of nowhere and won the Cinderella Trophy. Blue Collar's got two great options for this year. Right on, man. Michael Schmidt says somehow there's more meat cooking there than the whole state of California. I don't want to emulate anything California does.
I'm going to cook some tofu.
Andrew Nelson's thinking that Levi is going to the front in 28-10-5. Levi has a Chevy Laguna with an LS and a big old hair dryer on it, and you never know. Could be the year of Levi. Right on. Does anybody else have any questions for Dallas? Dallas, what are your plans like? So the first year, you're with me running the thing and just ran us crazy with a skeleton crew.
Ran ragged. Yeah.
The second year, you participated as a participant. So you ran 28-10-5 and all of that. What are your plans for the third year? What do you want to do this year?
This year, I'd like to just uphold that 28-10-5 championship if I can. I am going to. I have a few tricks up my sleeve. I'm getting more things ironed out on the car. The C4. If you didn't notice last year at No Name Nationals, about the last two passes, the C4 was giving up big time. It was doing what they call flare up in high gear. So it sounded like you had a stick shift in there going into high gear. And it's probably going to be the last hurrah for this C4, and then I'm going to have to do something else. Ron Ward's telling me a G-Force 5-speed. I don't know. It was meant to be a race car. It doesn't have any wiring in it for turn signals and brake lights and all that jazz. So it's probably just going to remain a race car, but I think I might – I got a few Turbo 400s. I might just put a Turbo 400 in it.
Cool. Hot Rod Guy Garage says you need a glide. You need a power glide.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll definitely see. That was the thing is, my car doesn't have a power adder. It has no nitrous, no turbo, no nothing like that. It was originally built as like a okay, I'll have to throw it back on you here. Way back when Supergas was in its infancy, it was actually called Pro Gas. They had a 950 index. It was an index class. It was the end-all be-all sportsman class. And it was a huge following. And I built the car as if like Pro Gas became Super Gas, which became throttle stops and delay boxes and a bunch of electronic gadgets that make the car suck at the drag strip. They're just terrible to watch, and it ruins it for the spectator. So the idea was, I took an idea of like the first couple of years of Pro Stock and applied it to my T-Bird. So it has all like the same kind of stuff that you would have the first couple of years of Pro Stock, except for an automatic. And then I went and ran Super Gas with it, but I really, I wish Super Gas wasn't such a mess with all the throttle stops and delay boxes. And I did run it in there, and the guys complained too much. So I don't know why.
Brazil suggested to run a 4-speed like his. Dallas, if you haven't seen that video, it's pretty cool.
I have seen his. I was watching his 4-speed and his clutch video.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to get one set up for my 63 Buick. That's another thing is I'd like to finish this 63 Buick, have a 4-speed stick shift shootout with Bobby Frizzell.
Talk to Frizzell. He's got exactly what your Buick needs. It's based on a top loader.
Well,
ideal.
but I've already got my Power Brute Super T10, so I'll probably stick with that. But it definitely won't be done for No Name Nationals. There's just mounds and mounds and mounds of work to do on that car.
You got any closing thoughts? Because I got a knock on the door from our last guest of the evening.
Okay.
You have any thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Hey, if you were told last year at No Name Nationals during tech, fix this before you come back next year, Deke is going to hold you guys to that if you hadn't noticed. Make sure you fix the things that Deke told you the previous year. You can still have the boogered up snot rag stuff on there, but it better not be the same one that Deke saw last year because he's going to give you crap about it. And there were some people that got their feelings hurt, but I mean, in reality, it says we're just trying to keep the event safe and as minimal downtime as possible. So that way you guys can have as much fun.
Give new folks who've never come before.
What's that?
Let's say we've got new folks in here watching. They've never been to the No Name Nationals, and you got some info for them. What would you tell? A couple things you would tell new folks.
Don't worry about a hotel room. Prepare to camp because that's where the fun is at. Bring your grill. Bring something to throw on the grill that's not your norm, right? Don't bring a hot dog. Don't bring a hamburger. Bring a piece of gator meat or something that share around with everyone else. And try to do it on the low buck because that's what the event's all about. It's made for the regular person. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you might show up in a motorhome and a stacker trailer, but there won't be many of them there.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can show up with a Class A, or you can camp in a tent. Everything in between. You have people sleeping in their cars everywhere. And we've never heard of theft at that event either. Nothing has ever gotten stolen there, which is awesome. No. But I appreciate you being on, Dallas. We got one more guest tonight.
Thanks for inviting me, John. I appreciate it. And I'll see everyone on Wednesday night. Me and Professor P will be back. Yeah.
That's right. Catch Dallas every Wednesday night on the American Hot Rod Association channel. And gotta knock at the door.
Howdy, howdy.
Look at this guy.
What's happening, Dallas?
What's happening, Tony?
Oh, not much. Just a typical Friday night.
I'm seeing you're cleaning house on a lot of apparel for our community, huh?
I've got a bunch of stuff available.
That's good. That's good. So I look forward to seeing you're going to make it this year, right?
Oh, you bet. I wouldn't miss it.
I look forward to seeing you again. Yeah.
We'll see you there, man.
Yeah, I'll bring the cold ones.
Me too.
All right.
Tony drove out the first year all the way from Arizona and shows up. He's got the No Name Nationals all the way across the back window. And then he says, next year, I'm going to get my channel, I'm going to get my subscribers, I'm going to bring my car or truck and race. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, don't forget, at that time, I only had like 106 subscribers.
That's right. So why don't you tell for the new folks in here, because we do have several new people floating in and out. Tell them, who you are, what your No Name Nationals experience is like, and just to catch people up.
Well, I don't want to get you demonetized, but I'm going to steal a slogan. Just do it. You won't regret it. Everything about the event is just fun. It's been said, Brian said it, a bunch of people have said it. It's like a family reunion where a drag race breaks out. Like John just said, first year I had 100 subs. I didn't have my truck together. Nothing was built. We jumped in the wife's daily driver, 2015 Chrysler. And, as most of you know, I do graphic and apparel work. So I cut a gigantic sticker, covered the entire back window of the car, No Name Nationals or bust. What's up, Mr. Cope? And we drove across country, 1,486 miles, I believe, one way from here to Sykeston. And
everything woke turns to shit.
There goes my famous text message. Let me mute that stupid thing. I know everybody likes it, but it can be annoying. So we try not to have it blasting off during the live streams.
Tony got into the No Name 500 for the second year.
Correct.
Tell them what that was about, because that was your first year running the No Name 500, which is what we call it for folks who join with fewer than 500 subscribers. It's the race before the race. It's the
Yeah, I was just going to say that's exactly what it is. It's the race before the race. You pump out the content. Just make all the videos you can of whatever you're doing. And just because you might think it's dumb or stupid doesn't mean that it is. You wouldn't believe the cool stuff that the individual creator himself thinks is dumb and nobody wants to watch. Everybody wants to watch it. Everybody is rooting for you. Everybody's pulling for you to get your project done. And then the grand finale is when they get to meet you and see that project, whatever it may be, car, truck, motorcycle, monkey, bike, whatever the hell it is, go down the track. That's what it's all about. And it is fun. A whole bunch of it. So don't let anything discourage you. Just make the content. If you think you got a crappy phone, so what? Shoot the content, put it up.
That's it.
You can have the best equipment in the world and make crappy videos, and you can have the worst equipment in the world and make great ones. So
bad content beats no content.
Exactly.
Don't
And just
do it.
And just because you think it's bad doesn't mean it is.
Some of my worst videos have done really well. So just the main thing is just do it. Just start.
And I'm telling you from my own experience, I am my own worst critic. I've watched videos that I've produced and I think they absolutely suck. And people love them. And they get views. And, I see something cool going down the road and I'll stick the phone out the window and make a 15-second short of it. And, the next thing you know, a stupid thing gets 20,000 views. It doesn't matter. People are rooting for you. Just get in the race. Get in the race and come to Sykes and you will not regret it.
Tony also made our very nice staff shirts for the No Name Nationals, by the way.
Oh yeah,
he makes apparel for several YouTube channels.
Yeah, that's a side gig that's getting busier every day. It's a lot of fun, but it's anybody wants apparel work done, t-shirts, hats, embroidery work, whatnot. Holler at me and we'll see if we can't help you out.
Right, we're going to be adding No Name Nationals hats to our official event apparel pretty soon. You'll be seeing that. But yeah, Tony, I wanted to have different guests that would come in here from that have had different experiences and perspectives, and they could share different stuff, and whatever questions the chat had, people saw it from all different angles. Andrew Nelson is saying second year was better than the first. I expect we'll see another stair step of positive change again. I sure hope so.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with that comment. Andrew is spot on there. And yes, Colleen, I got your email. We can talk about that more during my live if you'd like.
I'll mention too that Tony is live after this. So it's at 10 o'clock here in the East. I had Tony on last because that'll segue right into his stream, which is on right after this.
Yeah, it works out pretty good. Hey, look who shows up. Big Mike. Good to see you, brother, man.
Mike is here. Jack stands in Cinderblock. And Big Mike of the Hoopty Barn.
He builds some of the coolest stuff in that Hoopty Barn, don't he?
Yes, he does. Big Mike is a good role model for getting it together. Big Mike always.
Yes, he is.
He uses the days, he uses them effectively, he gets his stuff done, and he shows up.
I absolutely loved his 90-0 series last year.
Yep.
That was all about get it done.
Yep, he did.
And he did.
When I first saw Big Mike working for the first No Name Nationals, he was out working in single-digit weather in his Hoopty Barn, and I said, this guy's going to make it. The fact that he's out there in freezing weather working, he's going to make it.
Right.
And everybody who was working in freezing weather did make it.
And that is absolutely true, Scott.
Scott from Heaven's Mopar says it's cool when people say hi to you by name, even when you haven't met them yet. That's the great thing, because everybody's a content creator here. We do have that minimum amount of engagement of getting 500 subs. Everybody knows who you are, where you are, what you're working on. And when you roll in the gate, you won't have to ask anybody's name. They'll all know who you are. You'll know who they are. It's great.
You know, and it's funny. I can remember coming, the first year No Name with 100 or so subscribers, and I come through the gate. And, you remember you and I was BSing for quite a while. I move on. I park the car, and here come Mopar Al, and he knew who the hell I was. I think I had a grand total of 5 or 6 videos up. It was, and he calls me by name, and we go to BSing and talking for a good hour, and then on to the next guy and the next guy. And just to Scott's point, everybody knows your name. Wasn't there a TV show that used that slogan a few years back that I won't say on here? Oh, you said it. So.
No, Unfinished Project put up the link to the Hoopty Barn. Cool. We appreciate you doing that. So if you have any advice that you want to give No Name Nationals hopefuls, maybe our new guys, No Name 500 guys, or maybe it's folks just saying, I might want to give that a whirl. What would you suggest to them?
Get busy. Just get out there and dust off the project and get it done and show up. And if you don't get it done, so what? Show up anyways. It's still a lot of fun, and make the content, get your 500 subs. If you've already got your 500 subs and you don't get your project done, come anyway. Yeah. Even if you ain't got your 500 subs, take it from me. Come anyway. You'll have a great time.
You will have a pile of fun, even if you don't bring your car. You will have a blast.
It's Dust Devil Brian saying, do not start talking to Mopar Al if you're waiting for your food. Yeah. Yeah, he'll definitely talk your ear off. A good dude right there.
And Mopar Al's a great guy. I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He and his son came out and put on a clinic in the burnout competition, and they were great. He's working on his LARC. He plans to have a Studebaker LARC here this year. JB
that
said
is a cool project.
JB's little shop, who was another No Name 500 channel from the first season. He says, keep putting videos out. He knows what he's talking about. He got his subs one at a time. He ground it out.
Absolutely. And, obviously we're going to run out of time. I'm the last one on here, but JB, if you want to jump onto my live and continue this topic, you're more than welcome to. The link is actually already posted on my channel, as it always is.
If somebody would put one of the mods, if you would put up the link to Tony's live, because it wasn't up before this for me to get it. So if you would, that would be great. I figure Tony's live is more of a social live panel and roundtable, and that's the perfect place for stuff like that if that's what Tony wants to host.
And Mike nails it right there. My advice is just do something. We all support each other. If you need advice, this is the group to ask. Oh, hell yeah. And we all come together. I mean, if you need a part or something that you can't find, I'll bet any amount of money somebody in this group can find it.
NSB Custom Cars asks a question I asked Mike not a few hours ago. Talked to him on the phone. Are you going to make it this year? I hope Mike does. So
Daniel, Redbeard Racing 710, he's taken off. You too, Daniel. Good to see you, man. I can't wait to see Venom this year.
Oh, I know. So if you haven't seen, Redbeard has a car named Venom. It's been down in the 5s at No Name Nationals. It's pretty gnarly, and I'm hoping he'll have it back. He's working on his 605 Hemi, so if you want to follow that at Redbeard Racing 710.
Yeah, Redbeard Racing is no BS. That's a fast car. Shugu is going to be on Tony's live. I just invited him.
Shugu is JB's nickname.
Whichever one of them. It depends on the time you're asking which one of them. Shugu, I think.
The troll farm gave him that.
Yeah, 1 minute it's I know it. The troll farm.
Tony's is the place to be on Friday nights. We'll have this live, but because Tony is on the other side of the country, it works out great for him to be The Late Late Show. That's
Yeah,
it.
I run for 2 or 3 hours and we just shoot the shit, pretty much.
And he's not afraid of political third rail or any of that. So that's a different route, different show. I'm not worried about it either. I just never make that what the show's about.
Right.
Never
Well,
bothers
see,
me.
that's the beauty of my show. It very seldom does it have a specific topic. Every once in a while I'll have a guest and we will have a specific topic, but 9 out of 10 shows is, it's just open mic BS session and it's fun. JB loves the shoe goo crap.
So, as a person who goes on a really long hike to get to Sykeston, and by the way, as far as he's come, he did not win the Star Traveler either year. We had people
I know, right?
farther. It's hard to believe as that is.
They cheated.
So as somebody who's made that really long commute, tell them what your commute was like last year, and just give them any advice you have for making a trip that long.
Well, where should we start? From the friend that was supposed to lend me a trailer that backed out at the very last minute, the Saturday before I was starting to, ready to leave. And, I picked up the truck that I borrowed from another friend of mine, good friend of mine. It was a 2012 Cummins truck. We got everything loaded up. We ended up renting a U-Haul trailer, got everything loaded up and hit the road. And the weather was horrible, pouring rain most of the way. And middle of the night in Oklahoma, that borrowed truck decided to, shall we say, the right front brake caliper took a dump and puked out all the brake fluid.
Lunar is here.
Hey, Lunar Outlaw. Good to see you, Brian.
Hey, RT211, by the way, I have your question and I will get back with you. Since you're registered now, I'll shoot you an email. But anyway, go ahead and continue, Tony.
Yeah, and that was a very long night. We didn't get any sleep whatsoever. We found a local O'Reilly's that had the parts we needed and drove the truck and trailer with no brakes at all, about a mile and a half through a small town in Oklahoma to the O'Reilly's and bought the parts and proceeded to do front brakes, calipers, and all on the front of that truck in the O'Reilly's parking lot. Good thing I brought my 4-ton jack, by the way.
Right on.
And in the rain, and continued on to Sykeston.
You were in Miami, Oklahoma, right?
And where?
You were in Oklahoma. It's spelled Miami. They say it Miami.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's exactly where it was. Well, I'll never forget that night. What a night. But we pushed onward and upward, and hell, we're that far. I wasn't turning back now.
You left yourself plenty of time. You were prepared.
Yeah.
You were prepared for something you wouldn't expect.
Right. And the funny thing is I actually knew that truck needed brakes on the front of it, and I looked at it before we left. And from what I could tell, there was a good 1/4 inch of material left, but the squealer was squealing, so I actually I had a set of brake pads in the cab of the truck. The plan was to do the brake job in the pits at Sykeston. And, before we turned around and came home, and unfortunately the truck had other plans for us.
Lunar, I can't speak for any of these people. I've been reasonably well. We have a question
I can't
for you.
complain.
Are you going to make the trek to Sykeston this year?
That would be cool.
We'd love to see you. "38 POS Racing" says, "We followed you back, always coming home."
Yep. I do remember that.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know where he and Thumper were going after No Name Nationals. I remember they rolled out with his car on the trailer.
Yeah, I thought they were heading back up towards Nebraska or something.
I don't know. We have people from everywhere, though.
But we actually ran into them at a gas station. I forget what town it was in. We stopped for fuel, and so did they. And we ended up BSing for a few minutes in the parking lot.
There's another guy that comes from a crazy long way, Junkyard D.
Yep.
He comes from North Dakota.
69 watch and drink upside down. Wait, what was that, Dean?
Now we got 68. I owe you one, right?
Yeah. But, back to the question, of what would my recommendation be? Simple. Just do it. It is worth every minute of it.
You have any build advice, like, ways you should prioritize your build? Because that's a big one that I see is we have so many days. Part of the thing with this is, I remind you how many days it is, and that's on the orange paper, but the clock and the calendar wait for no one. So there's got to be a priority to build. What would you say, Tony, as a guy who did this, got it done, everything? How would you say is the best way to prioritize your time to make
it run, make it safe. Worry about the cosmetic crap later. If you've got time at the end, after it drives and is safe, then continue on with that, whatever else you want to do with it. But nobody cares if it's rust, if it's rust and patina, as long as it's not throwing rust chunks off on the track. Nobody cares.
No.
Just get it to where it runs, get it to where it's safe to make a pass down the track. And naturally, if it ain't safe, then you'll pass tech. Look at the rule book, get the thing, whatever speed class it's going to be in, get it to where it's got to be safety wise. Unlike NHRA and some of the other sanctioning bodies, a paint job is not required at No Name Nationals.
Some of your NHRA classes do require you to have paint.
Yes, that's why I said that.
That's crazy. I mean, you can have a paint job if you want a paint job. Why? What does that have to do with the car being safe or not?
And another thing, back to what I said about make it run and make it safe. We all know a guy that didn't even have it running.
Right.
Brought it to Sykeston and had it running at Sykeston.
We had two people do that there.
I'm thinking of Buff. Yeah, I'm talking about Buff.
We also had Cement Surfer Russell.
Right.
We did too.
Yeah, and once you get there with that thing just on the bleeding edge of ready to run, get it there anyways.
And if you can't get it there, still come out.
Yeah, exactly. But there's dozens and dozens of people there that'll jump and climb all over that thing and help you get her done. And that's just what this community is.
Pretty cars are welcome too. Bigfoot's and Mopar's Mark. He has a beautiful car, the Jack Pound Savage.
Man,
another beautiful
is
car.
It ever?
Yeah, check out Mark's channel. We call him Bigfoot Mark, Bigfoot's and Mopars. There is just Mopar Joe.
Hey, Joe. Good to see you, brother.
The 2022 No Name Nationals inaugural bracket champion. He is coming back to do some battle in 2024 and can't wait to see. And for those of you who were not following last year, Joe was supposed to show up with a 405-inch low deck big block street engine and showed up with something a whole lot gnarlier. And people found out after the fact he sneaked an extra 100 cubic inches under the hood.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
But there's
Nationals too.
There's another point to be made too. Don't let how fast or slow your car is dictate whether or not you come. Let's not forget that very bracket race you're talking about. Who was the runner up and what was he driving?
In the bracket?
Inaugural.
Joe won the first year, and the runner
was Tim in his van, remember?
And the second year, T's Good Time Garage was the winner. And was it Andrew Nelson was runner up? I believe he was runner up.
I believe so. Yeah. But to my point, just Mopar Joe's mean little purple Barracuda came this close to getting beat by a 318 powered B van in the bracket.
318 will run Tim. He is a good bracket racer.
He's a good racer, and that's what it's all about, especially in bracket racing. But what I'm getting at is don't let, if you think your car's too slow, and don't let that be an excuse not to come, because I guarantee you it ain't.
Tim was dialed an 1117, 318 wheel run, 1117 his van that he drove there from Illinois, and he runnered up. and he was just running Joe. So it was two extremely seasoned, good bracket racers.
Yep.
I mean, that was anybody's race. But
yep, that was such a good race. And I got an excellent video of that race.
Roland runnered up. Andrew Nelson
That's right.
Andrew Nelson runnered up in Heads Up.
Yeah.
And Torque Racing Productions runnered up the T's Good Time Garage in 2023. I guess it's a good thing that we've run enough years now that I don't have it right on the top of my head. But thank you, T, for the assist there. We hope you're going to be back out to defend your bracket championship in 2024. And we wish
I can't
all the luck
wait
in the world, but it's not going to. No one's going to give it to you. It's going to be tough.
I can't wait to see what the new updates to the Purple Barracuda bring us this year.
Yeah, that's right. You never know what Joe's going to do.
I was looking. Yeah, where's that? Oh, where's the one I was just looking for?
Anybody
Blue Collar Nate made a good point. Oh, right here. I've had more fun with slow cars than I have ever had with fast cars. Yeah, me too.
Anybody have any last questions for Tony on this live? Do remember that Tony will be live here in just a few minutes on his channel, and that live has a different makeup, different flavor. It's a panel and good discussion and all goes on over there. So,
wow, we done burned up that 30 minutes quick.
It goes fast. It goes fast.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That is the plan. And again, T comes out of the state of Utah. So that when I say
he ain't too far away from me.
It's funny is people say, is the No Name Nationals a national event? Well, isn't it? I mean, they come from all over the country. Is it not?
We even had Canadians.
Oh, yeah, we had Canadians, yeah.
So we have them from all over the country and beyond.
That's right. Now, Joe is saying, here's the bracket champ for 2024. Beware and subscribe. RT211 Racing. RT211 Racing says that he has just registered for the No Name Nationals. I'll check that here when I get off. And that is cool. So, yeah, he's got a quick car. I've subscribed to his channel already.
Yep, I do believe I subscribed to him last week. I'll double check for sure, though. Unity Motorsports Andy, I'm back home. Hey, Joe, when am I headed to Arkansas?
Anybody have anything else for Tony before we shut down here? This is a good live. You can share it with your friends who wanted to know more about the No Name Nationals. We'll probably do more for information on this. But Buck, by the way, does channel reviews for the newer channels and says RT211 got 10 subs here tonight. He's at 198. So, yeah, check him out. He's got a quick car. I was looking at it today. I'm already subscribed over there. So, Heavens Mopar says, welcome to the family. You will find that this functions more like a family without the ones you don't want to see.
Right. I was wrong. I was not subscribed, but I am now. And that looks like a really nice Challenger.
Yeah. Joe clued me in on his channel a while back.
Cool.
Ron says the countdown's quicker than you realize. Yes, it is.
38 POS says it's tough to have fun for this amount of money, and that's absolutely true.
It depends which side of the fence you're on with the money. If you're the one writing the checks. Come August.
Where else can you get into an event and have the amount of fun you have at No Name Nationals for sub $100?
We want to keep the entry fee as low as it can reasonably be. We've got a hyperinflationary environment. Everything's costing more. But we really want to try to do what we can to make this event as affordable as it can be. And it is. And it's working out great. So T says that RT211 with the home track advantage. Well, but he's no T's Good Time Garage either. So, there's that advantage, right?
Oh, is Sykeston his home track? That's cool.
His home track. But it's going to be a good bracket race. It's going to be very competitive. I think it'll be the most competitive bracket we've ever had. That's what I'm predicting. And there's Mean Street Mopar. Glad you could make it, sir. Big Mike says, I have fun with cheap and slow cars. Yes, you sure can.
It's easy to do.
Yep. And Mopars, Mustangs, and Minivans has a good segue out of here. He says, all right, guys, see you on Tony's Live. Tony's going to fire up live right after this. So with that, we're out here in the month of April. I'm going to try to have our tech inspector, Deke Denny. He will be on the show, and we'll advertise it. It'll be a live just for your tech questions. You don't want to overestimate what your car will run. Most people ask about a roll cage when they might be 2 seconds away from needing one. But that said, that will be the perfect live to ask your tech questions. We'll talk about the things most people need to improve upon before they get there. But I got to say, last year was very smooth going through tech, and most people had everything in order. And I think that having those tech special passing tech special live streams really helped. So we're going to do that again. I hope to do the next one next month.
Yeah, very, very helpful.
But with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and shut down, and we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everybody.
See everybody in Sykeston.